What if your car could fail its MOT for a reason that has nothing to do with your brakes, your tires, or your engine? Starting this month, thousands of garages across the country are changing exactly how your test is carried out, and most drivers have no idea it's happening. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's changed, who it affects, and the one update that's already catching people out before they've even left the test center car park. New DVSA rules have started landing across August 2026, and they're not small tweaks buried in some government document nobody reads. These are changes that touch how your MOT is recorded, how your driving test is booked, and what happens the moment something goes wrong. Some of these changes have been building quietly since the spring, others land this very month. And the timing matters, because if you don't know the new rules, you could end up losing a test slot, delaying your MOT, or facing a headache that was completely avoidable. Let's start with the story of James from Birmingham. James had been driving his old estate car for years, and like most people, he treated his MOT the way he treated a dentist appointment. Book it, drop the car off, collect it later, forget about it until next year. This year was different. When he went to pick his car up, the garage mentioned something he'd never heard before. His car had been photographed during the test. Not for a spot check, not because anything was wrong, but because it's now part of how the test itself is carried out. James assumed this was some kind of local garage policy. It wasn't. It's a nationwide DVSA rollout, and it's happening right now. Here's where most people get caught out. From the 3rd of August 2026, the DVSA began the national rollout of a new photo verification system at MOT tests. Around 2,500 garages across Great Britain are gaining access to this feature during this phase, with testers using a smartphone, tablet, or similar device to photograph the vehicle at the time of test. It sounds simple, almost too simple to matter, but think about why it exists. The DVSA has been dealing with a growing problem of what's sometimes called ghost testing, where a vehicle is never actually present at the garage, yet somehow a valid MOT certificate gets issued anyway. A photograph proves the car was physically there. It protects honest garages, it protects honest drivers, and it closes a loophole that's been quietly exploited for years. Would you have known this was happening the next time you dropped your car off? Most drivers wouldn't. And that's exactly why it matters, because if you understand how the system verifies your vehicle, you're far less likely to be caught in any confusion if something ever gets questioned. Think about it from the garage's point of view for a second. Feedback from the earlier trials, which involved over 300 garages, was described by the DVSA as overwhelmingly positive. Testers said the process was straightforward, with little to no impact on how long a test actually took. But the real value isn't speed, it's evidence. A time-stamped photograph means there's a clear record that a specific vehicle was physically present at a specific garage at a specific moment. For years, a small number of dishonest operators have been able to issue certificates for cars that were never actually inspected. That's not just unfair to honest drivers who wait patiently for their turn, it's a genuine road safety risk, because an unroadworthy car could be driving around with a certificate that says otherwise. This is the DVSA closing that gap, garage by garage, month by month. But that's only the beginning, because while garages are adjusting to new camera requirements, learner drivers and their families are dealing with a completely different set of changes, and these ones can be far more frustrating if you're not prepared. Picture Sarah from Leeds. Her son had been learning to drive for the best part of a year, working with an instructor, building confidence, slowly getting ready for his test. When his test date finally came through, life got in the way. A family event clashed with the original slot, so Sarah tried to move it. Simple enough, she thought. Except this year, that simple change wasn't quite so simple anymore. Under the current DVSA booking rules, learners are only allowed to make 2 changes to a car driving test booking before they're forced to cancel and start the process again from scratch. That covers changing the date, the time, or the test center. 2 changes, and that's it. Sarah's son had already shifted his test once earlier in the year for a completely different reason. When the family event came up, that second change used up his allowance entirely. Any further changes would mean losing his place and rejoining the queue, at a time when waiting lists for driving tests are already stretched thin in many parts of the country. Think about how frustrating that would be. Months of lessons, months of preparation, and suddenly the booking system itself becomes the obstacle standing between you and your test. There's another mistake that surprises thousands of learners every year, and it centers on exactly who is allowed to manage a booking in the first place. Meet Michael, based in London, whose driving instructor had always handled the administrative side of things. Booking the test, moving it if a lesson needed rescheduling, keeping track of dates. It felt efficient, it felt normal. Except, under the current rules, learners are now responsible for managing their own bookings. Instructors and other third parties can no longer book or manage tests on a learner's behalf. Michael only found this out when his instructor tried to make a routine adjustment and discovered the system simply wouldn't allow it anymore. This change didn't happen by accident. For years, some third-party services and automated tools were being used to snap up test slots the moment they became available, sometimes reselling them. Sometimes giving certain learners an unfair head start over everyone else genuinely waiting their turn. By putting control back in the hands of the learner, the DVSA is trying to level the playing field. But if you're a learner who's been relying on your instructor to handle the admin, this is exactly the kind of update that can catch you completely off guard. Has anything similar ever happened to you or someone you know? Maybe not with a driving test, but with any booking system that suddenly changed the rules without much warning. It's worth thinking about because these small procedural shifts have a habit of causing real disruption at exactly the wrong moment. The next update is even more important if you're hoping to move your test to somewhere more convenient. Emma from Liverpool booked her test at her local center months in advance. As the date approached, she realized a family commitment meant she needed an earlier slot, and a test center further afield happened to have availability much sooner. In previous years, that would have been an easy switch. Not anymore. Under the current rules, when you use one of your 2 allowed changes to move your test, you can only move it to one of the 3 nearest test centers to your original booking. Emma's preferred alternative wasn't on that short list, so her options narrowed considerably. She could use her second change to move again, but only within the 3 centers nearest to wherever she'd just moved to, or back to her very first booking. It creates a kind of chain reaction, where every choice limits your next one. Miss that detail, and you can end up stuck between locations that don't actually solve your original problem. Do you think this rule is fair? Some drivers feel it protects genuine learners from being priced out or crowded out by people gaming the system. Others feel it removes flexibility from people who have legitimate reasons to travel for an earlier test. Either way, it's the reality every learner is now working within. So understanding it before you try to make a change could save you a significant amount of stress. Now here's where everything starts to connect. Because these booking changes aren't isolated, they sit alongside a much bigger reform to how driving tests actually work, and it's one that's already shaping every test currently being taken. Independent driving, the part of the test where you drive without step-by-step instruction from the examiner, has increased significantly. It now makes up roughly half of the overall practical test. And the way examiners assess it has changed too, with the vast majority of tests now involving sat-nav navigation instead of the older follow-the-road signs format that many learners spent years preparing for. Imagine spending months practicing with your instructor giving you turn-by-turn prompts, only to discover on test day that examiners are now watching for sustained decision-making, positioning, and hazard awareness over a much longer stretch of unsupervised driving. That shift alone has changed how instructors are teaching, and many learners taking their test right now are being assessed under criteria that look quite different from what their older siblings or parents experienced. Consider John, up in Glasgow, who took his test earlier this year after preparing largely the way his older brother had described his own test years earlier. His brother had spent most of his independent driving section simply following road signs, with an examiner occasionally chiming in. John assumed it would feel similar. Instead, he found himself relying on a sat-nav for the majority of his independent driving, expected to interpret directions, manage lane positioning, and respond to hazards, all while essentially driving unaided for around 20 minutes, roughly half of his entire test. It wasn't that the test became unfair, it simply became a different test, and nobody had told him just how different until he was sitting in the driver's seat. Many learners only realize how much has changed once they're already behind the wheel on test day, and by then, there's no time to adjust. That's exactly the kind of surprise this video is designed to help you avoid. Wait, because there's still the biggest piece of this puzzle, and it's the one tying everything together. All of these changes, the photo verification at MOT centers, the 2-change booking limit, the learner-only booking rule, the restriction on which test centers you can move to, they're all part of the same underlying push from the DVSA this year. A push towards fairness, towards closing loopholes, and towards making sure the system can't be gamed by automated bots, resellers, or fraudulent shortcuts. What started as a handful of policy announcements late last year and earlier this spring has now become a fully active set of rules, landing in real time this August in garages and test centers across the entire country. What happened next shocked even experienced instructors. Some driving schools that had built their entire admin process around managing bookings for their students have had to completely restructure how they support learners, shifting from hands-on booking management to guidance and reminders instead. Garages that once ran informal or rush testing processes are now working within a system designed to verify, beyond doubt, that every single test was carried out properly on a vehicle that was genuinely present. So, here's the real question. If these rules have already changed how MOTs are verified, how driving tests are booked, and how the practical test itself is assessed, how many other drivers out there are walking into these situations completely unaware? Probably far more than you'd think. If you're booking a driving test soon, remember you only get 2 changes, and moving your test center limits your next move to the 3 nearest options. If you're a learner, remember, the booking is yours to manage now, not your instructor's. And if you're taking your car in for its MOT, don't be surprised if a photograph becomes part of the process, because from the 3rd of August, that's simply how it works in a growing number of garages nationwide. Would you have known any of this before watching? Let me know in the comments, because I'd genuinely like to hear whether these changes caught you by surprise or whether you'd already come across them somewhere else. As always, rules like these can be updated, adjusted, or clarified further as the year goes on. So before making any final decisions about your MOT or your driving test booking, it's always worth checking the latest official guidance directly on gov.uk to confirm exactly where things stand for your situation. If this video helped you avoid a mistake you didn't even know was possible, give it a like. It genuinely helps this channel keep making content that protects UK drivers from exactly this kind of confusion. And if you want to stay ahead of the next set of changes before they catch you out, make sure you're subscribed to UK Road Rules Hub, because there's always something new heading your way.